What's up, Academy? The four things that are direct result of fatherlessness: poverty, taxpayer costs, role reversal, and black lives just don't matter. Let's talk about it. Poverty is one of the biggest things facing our country, and a lot of politicians and government agencies throw money at it. But really, we should focus on what's the root cause of poverty. Families who are led by mothers, single parent homes led by women, have a really high poverty rate. It approaches 50% in some statistics, whereas families that are two parent homes have a poverty rate below 10%. So that's one metric that we can use to look at to decide if a person is going to be in poverty or not. I read a book called Who Stole the American Family, and it says that if a woman has a child out of wedlock, she is 80% more likely to be in poverty for the rest of her life. That means that she's going to be below the poverty line for a long time. There are always exceptions to the rule, but let's don't live life based on exceptions. Let's live based on reality. Reality is single parent homes suffer economically. Single parent homes suffer socially. There's just not enough income in the home. We can single-handedly lower the poverty rate in our country by convincing women to get married before they have a child. Incidentally, you also have rights to everything that the man owns if he decides to run off and leave you with these kids. If you ask me, that's a pretty good exchange. You give him your hand in marriage, you give him children, you give him a home, and he's on the hook. I know it's a lot of people out there try to blame women and try to blame a lot of what we see on the female community, but it's really the men. Men have lost their sense of purpose, lost their understanding, and their identity. And that's why we have so many single-parent homes. Illegitimacy, not illiteracy. Illegitimacy in America is approaching 75 to 80%. That means 75 to 80% of black kids are born out of wedlock, meaning there's no fathers around to actually nurture and guide and lead and direct these kids. So that's poverty. Taxpayer costs. In Mississippi, there are nearly 2,000 fatherless young women have children in 2019. According to this report, taxpayers in Mississippi spent between $51 and $57 million as a result of fatherless teen mothers in 2019 alone. This was a study that I looked at from the Mississippi Office of State Auditor. They looked at basically fatherless young women getting pregnant, being teen mothers, and how much it costs the state. The study went on to say that Mississippi taxpayers will see an additional $700 million in current and future spending each year due to fatherlessness. So we could save money just by getting the father back in the home. Here's another thing according to a report from the auditor's office. Approximately 9,800 imprisoned men in the state of Mississippi come from fatherless homes, which is about 50% of the Mississippi prison population. This extrapolates to $181 million spent to incarcerate fatherless men every year. That's a lot of money. $181 million to put young men in jail and take care of them annually because they come from a fatherless home. I mean, these are just little tips of the iceberg. The problem is so much bigger, so much more extensive and expansive than what we realize. And my goal is to get fathers back in the home and teach boys how to be men. That's my goal. If you got a problem with that, turn this channel off and go to another channel. Because I really don't care what people think. because one generation is destroying the next generation because of their own foolishness. We talk about the young generation. We talk about the millennials and what they're not doing. But what have we done as a generation to try to mold and shape the minds of the next generation? What are we doing to try to help the next generation? Here's another thing that is a direct result of fatherlessness. It's called role reversal. Here's a quote that I heard by T.D. Jakes. It says, real fathers make deposits in you through which you can make withdrawals later in life. Think about that. You see, boys raised by women usually take on the feminine role and they develop atypical emotional characteristics. They lose their sense of masculinity. What am I saying? They don't know how to be a man. How can you learn how to be a man from a woman? It will never happen. I don't care what you say. I love women. My wife's a woman. My mom's a woman. My sisters are women. But women can't give something that they don't have. I could never teach a girl how to be a woman. I'm sorry. No matter how much wisdom I got. She needs to see it from a woman. Men need to learn how to be men from men. Iron sharpens iron, as the Bible says. I had my dad for a long time in my life. He died in 2014. He taught me what it takes to be a man. I've never been arrested. I've never been to jail. No earrings in my ears. No outside kids. All this came from my dad. He taught me these things and showed me how to actually be a man. And I'm so glad that he was hard on me. So glad that he taught me the things that I need to know to actually step into manhood with ease. There's a transition that you got to make if you're going to go from being a boy to a man. You got to make the decision to be a man. It's not going to come easy. It's got to come from a place deep down inside of you that says, I know who I am. I know where I come from, and I know where I'm going. That's manhood. So, last thing, Black Lives don't matter. You know, Black Lives Matter came up during the George Floyd era, you know, with the riots and all this kind of stuff. But to be honest with you, black children, boys are being murdered every day, and Black Lives don't show up. The organization really should show up when every black person is murdered, is killed, is done wrong. No matter who was the perpetrator. If a white cop kills a black person, black man especially, Black Lives Matter show up. But what about when a black kid gets killed by another black kid? Or a black man gets murdered by another black man? Where are these Black Lives Matter organizations then? You see, black lives will never matter until they matter to black men. When black men start making it matter, they'll start mattering. People will pay attention. And people will wake up. That's all I got today. I just wanted to drop a little tidbit in your heart. A lot of this is from my book, Grown Boys. Check it out. It's coming out April 2026. And we're trying to teach boys how to be men. We're trying to show them what it takes to actually get your identity back, stand up for who you are and what you believe in, and become something. Thank you for tuning in. See you in the next video.